With the 2027 general elections fast approaching and insecurity growing by the day, there's every concern that maybe during the elections, violence will proceed. But the big question is, should elections and campaigns be held in some major states that are being affected by insecurity, or should we, just in every way, put a hold to the elections? Well, anyway, don't bother yourself with that. We'll be talking about that later. But for now, I want to quickly welcome you to another lovely time on television. It's Atlantic TV Viewpoint it is, and I still remain Michael Gobadia. You do know, when it's always interesting and serious, I'm never alone. I always have my colleague. I'm talking about no other person but Patience Monday. Patience, good morning.
Good morning, Mr. Michael. And good morning and welcome to Viewpoint on Atlantic TV. Well, as you know, on Viewpoint, we begin with the dailies and we'll move straight to dialogue, and then the news comes around. Do well to connect with us on all our social media platforms of Facebook, YouTube, and Instagram at Atlantic Media and TV. We'll go on this quick break, and when we return, the dailies will be next.
Don't miss out on exciting news, events, and more. Stay connected by following us on Facebook, YouTube, and Instagram at Atlantic Media and TV.
Seven papers is what we'll be looking at today on the show. And for review, we have The Punch, The Guardian, The Vanguard, The Daily Trust, The Nation, Nigerian Tribune, and indeed, it might not be sunny, but Daily Sun is also here. Let's see if we start with The Punch and see what The Punch has as a major one. On The Punch this morning, 2027, suspense as Supreme Court delays PDP ADC verdict. And riders to follow that verdict. Wike block sparks fresh PDP tension. Pegs presidential form at 51 million and governorship at 21 million. Makinde cap to Wike group. It's an exercise in futility. And Nigeria democracy at stake. Well, these are credited to the ADC. But I'll tell you to get more of that story up on page 2. Let's see if we take some other leading ones. Yes, still on the front page. Insecurity. Senate 6 campaign ban in 8 northern states. Remember, I'll be looking at this critically later on dialogue. And, well, should the elections take place in the states? Or are they just proposing? Well, all of that will take center stage later, but read it up on page 12. FAAC allocation hits 2.04 trillion, rises by 150 billion naira. It's on page 27. Federal government plans to borrow 700 billion via April bond. Woo! We had a critical look at this just 2 days back on dialogue, where it looks as if every Nigeria will now be owing 800,000 naira. But anyway, page 24 has more of that story. Delabo resigns. Presidency explains Edun Dagiwa exit is also a major one on page 7. But let's see if we take some other leading stories still on the front page of the Punch this morning. Federal government considers airline debt waiver amid 4 crises on page 17. Lagos called jails fraudster for the 2 years over 80,000 scam. Wow. Anyway, page 5 has that story. Federal government mourn as ambassador designates to Algeria dies. Well, sad one, he died at the age of 50. But then get that copy on page 12 of the Punch. Alleged coup, suspect plead not guilty, remanded in DSS custody. Remember, they were arraigned yesterday, and the speedy trial is what the judge is saying, but I'll tell you to read it up on page 9. And funny enough, that's the picture of the day, and you can see the alleged coup plotters are being arraigned yesterday by the Department of State Service. Well, that's much you can take from the Punch.
Let's check out stories making rounds on the Guardian newspaper this morning. And on the Guardian, the lead story, debate over security strategy as Senate demands rescue of 416 captives. You can get more of that on page 6. Still on the front page, PDP ADC kick as Supreme Court reserves judgment in leadership tussle. All of that is on page 3. 6 suspected coup plotters pled not guilty to federal government's 13th charges. Trial begins Monday. Trials begin April 27. Can get more details on page 3. INEC visits LP Secretariat, verifies leadership documents. Still on page 3 of The Guardian. Still on the front page, let's see if we can get more of the leading stories. Court ruling paves way for stricter consumer protection in banking sector. You can find more details on page 4. Nigeria record 4,200 weekly cyber attack amid digital economic growth. Well, you can still get more details still on page 4 of the Guardian newspaper. Ndukwa protester blockade Delta government house over decade-long blackout. Well, you can find that on page 8. Tinubu makes fresh appointments in education agencies. That very story is on page 29. Adelabu quits FEC as presidency clarifies cabinet exit amid anxiety over shake-up. Well, you can get that details still on page 6 of the Guardian newspaper. Refiners allege crude diversion allocations shortage of 483,000 PDD. That you can get that story on page 7 of the Guardian. And the picture of the day is that of the founder and CEO of Flutterwave and the governor of Anambra State in a strategic meeting to drive e-commerce transformation and digital growth across the state. That's much you can take on the Guardian this morning.
Let's quickly go to the Nation and see what the Nation has for us this lovely day. And on the Nation this morning, the leading story reads, coup plotters are suspect to get speedy trial from Monday. As writers to follow court orders, remand of ex-general, 5 others in DSS custody. And anyway, you can get more of that story up on page 2 of the Nation. And funny enough, it's making a round on almost all dailies today. Edun Dangiwa resigns, says presidency, as Adelebo quits to run in Oyo governorship election. It's on page 2. His presidential governorship May 17 and 18, formed for 51 and 20 million naira respectively. And you can get that on page 27. Federal States Council shared the 200 trillion, or 2.04 trillion for match allocation is on page 7. Ambassadorial designate to Algeria, Mohamed Lele, dies, and a sad reality on page 27. And how Titan Trust Bank used Union Bank's own assets for over $300 million takeover. And I'll tell you to take that story up on page 2 of the Nation newspaper. Let's see if we take some other leading story. And well, we seem to have Supreme Court adjourns for judgment in ADC PDP appeals. And page 2 has that story. And the picture of the day is that is supporting the lead story. The alleged coup plotters in court yesterday. Well, that's the much we can take from the Nation newspaper.
And on to the next paper, the Nigeria Tribune will be on review. Still on daily, the Nigeria Tribune, the lead story reads, Benue killings, Senate seeks probe, decisive action. That story is on page 2. One service shifts to probe attack on Monguno military base by insurgents. Military hit ISWAP logistic in Lake Chad, killed over 30 fighters. Well, there's a very sad one, and Plateau government files charges against 5 suspects over Angwa Rukuba killings. All of that plays out. You can get all of that on page 2 of the Nigerian Tribune. Still on the front page, public debt stock rises to 159.28 trillion naira. And the riders to that, federal government, state, local governments share 2.3 trillion naira match revenue. You can get all of that on page 5. Adelabu resigns to face Oyo APC go-back battle. And the riders to that, recommend creation of coordinating minister for energy. You can find that on page 8. Alleged coup, court remand suspect in DSS custody. Orders accelerated hearing. Well, you can get more details on page 4. Let's see if we can get more of the leading stories still on the front page of the Nigeria Tribune. Circular Road, Oyo government approved 5.8 billion naira compensation. Or you can get more details on page 12. WIS 2026, 127 head of states to storm Abuja. You can find more details on page 2. Al-Makuna fought Nasarawa government over alleged breach of APC primary process. Well, you can find more details on page 11. And talking health, study revealed cancer rate up to 85% higher in never married adults. Or you can get more details on page 29. Waiting game for ADC PDP continues as Supreme Court reviews judgment. Keep faith alive. Turaki-led camp, ADC tells members Wike's camp releases 2027 election timetable, holds presidential primary May 17. Another 6 rest members defect to ADC APC. APC retains majority with 282 seats. PDP 30, ADC 24, Labour Party 10. Or you can get more details on page 3 and 4 of the Nigerian Tribune. Rising price of jet AI fuel. FG offers so-called to airlines suspend collection of charges and orders. Well, you can get more details still on page 6 of the Nigerian Tribune. And the picture of the day, as you can see, well seated, is that of the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. He's talking about no other person but President Bola Ahmed Tinubu and the former President Goodluck Jonathan at the presidential villa in Abuja yesterday, Wednesday. And that is much you can take on the Nigeria Tribune this morning.
Let's see if it's sunny out there as we go through Daily Sun to see if the papers will be supporting the weather. And on Daily Sun this morning, the leading story reads, Insecurity. Senate gives CDS, DSS orders, matching orders, charges security heads to probe Mugudu and Benishik attacks, NAB perpetrators. And I'll tell you to get more of that story up on page 6. Alleged coup plotters arraigned, denying charges, remanded in DSS custody as court okays accelerated hearing. And you can hear or get more of that on page 6. Supreme Court reverses or reserves, judgment in PDP ADC leadership crisis as Makinde faction hopeful of victory. Wiki blog schedules presidential primaries for May 17th and 18th. And you can get those stories on page 26 and 27 of the Daily Sun. Let's see if we take some other lady stories still on the Daily Sun. Ojukwu, not just fighter for justice, but man of ideas. Ooh. Coming from no other, but he's, the late Ojukwu, his wife Bianca seems to be saying that. Maybe she having beautiful memories of him on page 8. Love gone sour. How court ended bitter love affairs between ex-shipping magnates, Jolak Pomo, and ex-NTA staff, Funke Oti. And anyway, there's always a thin line between love and hate. But you can get that story up on page 14 and 15 of the Daily Sun. Corruption, misplacement of priority because of our poor security funding in Nigeria. And former Vice President Atiku Abubakar is giving us that story up on page 6. Edun Dangiwa resigned, not sacked, says presidency. And more of that clarity is on page 8. But the picture of the day is the alleged coup plotters at the Federal High Court in Abuja yesterday being escorted by the Department of State Service. Well, that's the much you can take from the Daily Sun.
Let's check out stories making it to the headlines on Daily Trust this morning. And on Daily Trust, the leading stories reads, 72-hour deadline, Bono families fear for 416 captive. Or you can get that story on page 3 of the Daily Trust. Still on the front page, alleged coup plot, federal government arraigned suspects, trials begins Monday. You can find more details on page 6. COVID, 10 suspected cases identified in Cross River states. Well, you can get more details still on page 6 of the Daily Trust. Benga Ashi meets Falana, vows residents to one-party agenda in Nigeria. Story continues on page 14. And still on the front page of the Daily Trust, Ambassador-designate Lele dies at 50. Well, it's a sad one on page 6. Minister of Power Adelabu resigns. Wow. Well, you can get more details on page 27. 19 people die in Edo Taraba Road crashes. It's a very disturbing story on page 6 on the Daily Trust. Supreme Court holds fate of two parties, talking about ADC and PDP. Well, you can get more details on page 4 and 5. And the picture of the day, still the picture of the day is that of Mr. Olugbenga, the founder and CEO of Lotterwave, and His Excellency Professor Charles Chukwuma, and Governor of Anambra State, in a strategic meeting to drive e-commerce transformation and digital growth across the states. And that is much we can take on Daily Trust this morning.
Well, the Vanguard is where we are zooming to next, and the Vanguard, funny enough, will be the last paper for us to look at. And on the Vanguard this morning, the leading story reads, how Nigeria can achieve food security by not me, but rather experts. As United Nations Food Agency warns 35.7 million Nigerians face hunger in 2026. Well, I feel that's a bit higher. Youth private sector key to ending Nigerian food crisis, says IFAD. And new policy will grow livestock sector to about $74 billion, according to the minister. Don't miss 1 trillion agro boom, Agri Minister urges youth and women. That means we'll all be taking cutlass to the farm soon. But anyway, that story is up on page 10. Let's see if we take some other leading story right there on the Vanguard newspaper. Foreign inflow jumped by 78% on Nigerian foreign exchange amid rising outflow on page 19. Ex-Minister or Finance Minister Edun resigned on held grounds. More clarity from the presidency on page 8. Court remands alleged coup plotters in DSS custody is also on page 7. And Supreme Court reverses a judgment in PDP ADC leadership crisis is up on page 5. Let's see if we take some other leading story. Yes, Nigerian officials involved in killing of Christians. And this accredited to Senator or U.S. Senator Ted Cruz as Boko Haram killing more Muslims than Christians. And Lai Mohammed is saying that on page 9. Alleged false claim. Factional PDP chairman Turaki Duct gets 100 million naira bail on page 5. Article to National Assembly. Amend Electoral Act now to save democracies on page 8. Benga Hassan. Falana vow resistance as one-party state fears grow. It's on page 8. But let's do more of a comic part of it. And Mr. and Mrs. column is where I'm going. Mrs. as usual, always find the first shot. So if you can't assist me in the kitchen because I refuse to hire a housemaid, I refuse because you insisted she must be beautiful. Agent, all your clothes, bags, shoes, and jewelries are beautiful. So, madam, he should also have a beautiful housemaid. But anyway, that's the much we can take there. And for the honor of the picture of the day is the Vanguard Economic Discourse. I played that just in the last 5 days, and conclusion was held yesterday. But anyway, just as we've concluded that, we've concluded the papers also. I will always implore you, if you find any juicy and you really want to read up and get abreast, well, do yourself a favor and do so. But for us now, it's a quick break, and when we come back, dialogue right here on Viewpoint.
Behind closed doors, too many suffer in silence. Too many lives are scarred by violence in the very place that should bring peace, the home. Domestic violence is not love. It is pain. It breaks trust, destroys lives and families, and steals futures. Domestic violence is not a private matter. It's a violation of dignity, and it must end. Because hitting a woman does not make you a man, but correcting her in love and staying in peace with her is God's plan. Together, we can raise our voices, protect the vulnerable, and rebuild lives. Say no to silence. Say no to fear. Say no to domestic violence. Powered by Atlantic Media and TV.
Atlantic TV, culturally inclined and uniquely different.
My name is Desoka, the comedy catalyst of one of Nigerian comedy.
Alright guys, back again, yes boss, my name is Osh baby.
Yemi Alade.
Yeah, what up people, it's your boy Victor AD.
Girl Niniola.
My name is my wife and just celebrity type man.
My papa say, who won't carry cow, waka go, waka follow the cow. I know the life for you.
I see you know you're watching the Atlantic TV.
Keep watching Atlantic TV.
Atlantic TV. Keep watching Atlantic TV.
Keep watching Atlantic TV.
Keep watching Atlantic TV.
Atlantic TV.
Informative, educative, interesting, entertaining.
Worldwide, international.
Don't go anywhere, I'll catch you.
Don't touch that die. Atlantic TV. Boom.
Atlantic TV, we wanna party.
Atlantic TV. Culturally inclined and uniquely different.
Every year, millions of lives are stolen, dreams cut short, futures traded in silence. Human trafficking is a modern-day slavery. It hides in plain sight, tearing families apart and trapping the vulnerable in fear. But together, we can end it. Together, we can protect, we can rescue, and we can give hope. Say no to exploitation. Say no to slavery. Say no to human trafficking. Powered by Atlantic Media and TV.
Atlantic TV. Culturally inclined and uniquely different.
It's your boy Godos, aka Comedy Berlusconi.
Hi, my name is Bobby.
My name is Orisha Femi, aka the music and Taliban.
Emiapore Inarise of Jemwe, aka Short Family, aka the Comedy Millionaire, aka the Online Landlord in Lagos.
Alright boss, my name is Osh baby.
It's still your girl, MC Roya.
My name is Desoka, the comedy catalyst of one of Nigerian comedy. You know me, the one of Adeshokpe Kingdom, the other Beko you see one. My papa said they know they use 2 legs. That's what I went deep.
The TV is real.
And you all should keep watching Atlantic TV.
Keep watching Atlantic TV.
Keep watching Atlantic TV, the best from the Niger Delta.
Stay glued to Atlantic TV.
Are you watching Atlantic TV?
Listen to me, you are locked down to Atlantic TV.
Keep watching.
Keep watching Atlantic TV.
Keep watching Atlantic TV.
Keep watching Atlantic TV.
Whether on your iPad or your laptop, Just be glued. If it's your TV, be glued.
You want to get informative, educative, interactive, interesting, entertaining news, man. Keep it locked down.
Keep watching Atlantic TV.
And you're watching Atlantic TV.
Don't shake that die. X amount of love. Peace out.
Gee, if you touch a maba,
If not, I go off your gen. Now me talk.
Victor Eddie says so.
Arararara.
Short family says so.
Atlantic TV. Culturally inclined, uniquely different.
The Senate yesterday, Wednesday, urged the federal government to consider far-reaching emergency measures, including the possible suspension of political activities in 8 frontline states, as insecurity continues to escalate across parts of the country. Now, the call, which underscores growing concern within the National Assembly over renewed insurgent offensive, followed a point of order raised by a lawmaker representing Bauchi Central, and we're talking of no other person but Senator Abdul Ningi, during plenary, where he stated that one of the things that the federal government must do is to either suspend all political activities across the country or look at some frontline states of Borno, Plateau, Bauchi, Benue, Niger, Sokoto, Kebbi, and some parts of Kano. He also said that we need to suspend activities in these states until we are sufficiently certain that the insecurity challenges are over. Now, this is because we are not dealing with just this insecurity issue at all, and I'm not blaming anybody, but we cannot come here every time to lament, he said. Ningi also warned that amid the rising insurgents of attack by Boko Haram insurgents in the northeast, including coordinated assaults on military formations and fresh threats issued against any forceful rescue attempt of adopted citizens. But the big question is, if the suspension of campaign is done, would this not look as if the terrorists are winning? And should the government not do more to end this now and even after the elections? And the honest truth is, should recent increase in insurgency not be related to the forthcoming elections? And are we going to see a possible reduction of attacks after the elections? Well, this and more will take center stage on our discourse today on the show. And we're talking about insecurity and the 2027 general elections that is fast approaching. We're talking about the resurgence in insecurity, and not only that, and how it kind of relates to the 2027 general elections. But anyway, you do know, anytime we tend to talk about serious issues, we always bring resource persons that are grounded on account of it to also help us with the discourse. Hence, we have no other person, but I'd rather call him Olorogun. He said, no, I should just keep him on the modest tone. And I'm talking about Chief Olori Magege. You do know, he's a chieftain and an elder statesman. I'd rather not call the party so I don't make it look as if, but it's an elder statesman and indeed a chieftain of the ruling party itself. Anyway, there I said it. Welcome and good morning to the show.
Good morning, Mike. And good morning, viewers and listeners.
Well, beautiful morning it is, but I doubt if it will leave a beautiful taste in the mouth of many Nigerians on account of the thinking of Abdul Ningi, the senator representing Bauchi Central. 8 key states, frontline states, he said that we should think of either pushing off the campaign itself or playing it a bit low. Now, before we dive deep into our discourse, I'm a bit keen and interested to get your reaction. Is he making a whole lot of sense, or would it be us shooting ourselves in the foot and the insurgents feeling that, well, yeah, it looks as if they are not taking us a bit serious?
Well, the senator is expressing his own views, but some views in view of the rising insecurity in the country. General Musa, when he became Minister of Defense, was all hot, blowing hot everywhere. And we saw some remarkable improvement in the security situation in the country generally. But recently he's been complaining of budget limitations. Particularly when the United States budget or expenditure for the Middle East crisis was released. He was saying, you see, you can't wage a war without money.
Of course.
Which is a pregnant statement. It means he wasn't getting enough money, or he's not getting enough money to wage the war. Insecurity has risen. Brigadier generals are being killed. Colonels are being killed. Military bases are being attacked. That tells you the effrontery and the confidence of these insurgents taking on a military base and actually overrunning it. That speaks volume as to our readiness to fight insecurity. And it's stretching downwards. It's not in Kwara.
Rather stretching southward.
Southwest.
Yes.
A military base was sacked in Kwara State recently. And the tone is now moving away from religious thinking to tribal thinking, particularly in view of the Kwara State, where we now have the Afonja, these Yorubas, are talking that the Fulanis are attacking them, and on and on and on. So yes, Senator is expressing a view about postponing campaign in nice days to let the country know that the business of insecurity is something else. But if you suspend campaign, do you suspend election?
It's another question.
It's another question. If you suspend election in 9 states out of 36 states, including Abuja, how valid will you say whoever emerges? Yes, whoever emerges. How valid would that be?
You know, that seems to be the sticking point in this discussion now. Because let's look at it critically. We keep to the, if we do that, it's being felt we are playing to the tune of the terrorists. If that suspension of campaign would be heeded by the federal government. Now, my question is, in your own honest assessment, is this problem overwhelming us as it stands now? Honestly.
At the point when we invited the Americans to come, Turkey has moved into.
Yes.
Turkey has had a base now in Nigeria.
Yeah.
Certainly, if that is not a sign of being overwhelmed, what is it? It's not now that we are realizing that we will accept the fact that insecurity has overwhelmed our...
So were we treating it with kid gloves? Were we not certain of how serious this was before now? Is that the reason?
Look at it, my brother. The moment we allowed a man called Buhari to go for second tenure, that's when we make the country ungovernable for subsequent presidents.
I hope you're not taking this personal, sir.
When I'm taking it personal?
Yeah.
I don't know Buhari for Adams. I had no relationship with him till he died, not zero. But he was my president, the president of my country. And I'm talking of how he performed and how he enhanced insecurity. The man admitted by himself that if he did not win, the country would be ungovernable for Jonathan. And he did not remove those things that he set in motion to make government ungovernable, to make the country ungovernable for Jonathan.
So all you are saying, this can be traced down
to Buhari.
When he was in leadership?
Yes, when he was in government. First, he did not deal with the insurgency the way it ought to have been done. He was paying them.
So that means we're just having...
We're helping them to get entrenched. We're helping them to get entrenched. And that is the problem. Not only that, he came out with policies. In fact, he went to the National Assembly to move a bill for the establishment of the reward system for the bandits. All this while we are getting entrenched. It's no longer a lie that El-Rufai paid bandits in Kaduna State.
While he was governor.
So when you are paying people, when you are paying criminals. What are you doing?
Do you feel that narrative is why the AGF during his time, Malami and his son, is now being prosecuted under the Terrorist Act?
Absolutely. Absolutely. In the same country, more of the Malamis should be under prosecution now. In the same country. Malami made it literally impossible for Amotekun to be formed. But for the solid will and combined will of the Yoruba states, Southern governors,
Southwest governors,
yes, Amotekun would not have been established. And if Amotekun had not been established in Western states, you can imagine the level of insecurity that there will be, even with Amotekun being established. You saw bombs being planned to be planted
in Ondo State.
In Ondo State. Yeah. You see all that. So, yes, we've not gotten all the Malamis. And in my view, Mr. President is being held back because of 2027. I have foreseen a situation in which Mr. President will come back and deal decisively with insecurity in this country. Because he won't have the problem hanging on his head of second tenure. He will not. The North has made insecurity an issue for Mr. President. The same North has not shown a total dedication to the eradication of insecurity in the North. They have not. Rather, they are enabling it.
Do you feel the political elite in the North, the religious leaders in the North, the traditional entity in the North is not saying or doing enough on this? Is that what you're saying?
Yes, they are not doing enough. They are not doing enough. The problem in Benue and Plateau State,
North Central.
North Central, is a land grab thing. It's a land grab thing. A war for land, for control of land resources in those two states. You know, some of the top northern elites had said that Benue and Plateau were conquered states by the Fulani Caliphate. And that they have a title to those lands. Because if the land is captured, if the land is seized by conquest, the conqueror owns the land. But that is an argument that has died long time ago. The owners, the aborigines of those lands, even if they were conquered at that time, had become sufficiently strong to challenge that conquest. That's what we are seeing today. Because nobody is saying the way it ought to be seen. The people who were conquered those days, their forefathers that were conquered those days, the new people, the recent children of the aborigines are saying, we are strong enough now to take back our land. And we've taken over the land. And the Congress are saying, no, you can't take it back. That is the basis for the war in Benue and Plateau states. And even if government knows this, and I think they know it, it seems incapacitated to solve the problem.
Now, that is where my question lies. You know, you said this. When we had the former CDS, Christopher Musa now being made a Minister of Defense, you came here on this platform and you applauded that move.
Yes.
Nigerians were excited having someone in a beautiful military background coming to sit as a Minister of Defense, unlike a politician that was there before now. And just like what you said, we saw huge gains within a period of 2-3 months. Now, all of that seemed to have withered away, or seem to have withered away, because this narrative isn't painted political. So my question is, does it mean when you now assume the position of the Minister of Defense, all your powers, all your belief, all your plan structure seem to have been withered down? Because I really don't understand why we seem not to be having a full grip on insecurity when we have the United States of America that has the best military on the planet helping out, when we have Turkey, who is a member of the North Alliance Treaty, and a strong push for peace and a beautiful regiment of not just military but naval and air force in the whole world is also assisting. So it baffles me, it wonders Nigeria why we seem not to be getting a grip on insecurity. What seems to be the problem? Are we out of ideas, or are there some certain persons there saying, guys, you cannot do more than this. This is your limit. I know it's a tough question. Forgive me.
Yes, yes. No, it's okay. When you get into a car, whether old or new, when you get to a car that no matter how good a driver you are, when you are rating from 0 to 100, the car is moving very well.
Yes.
But when you get to the true capacity of the car is no longer moving well. I slowed down. Musa came in, he got into the car, kicked it, and we were hailing. And he then boom, 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 the car picked up. Now the car has reached its peak.
Yes.
It can't go beyond that speed. What I mean is this. Musa did not reconfigure newly the entire military system. He is working with what he met there.
Okay.
Even if he has new ideas, he alone cannot implement it within himself. Yes. He must be infiltrated. We all know it. He's been infiltrated. And the military seems not to be doing anything about it. Recently, we've gotten some, is it not?
Reintegrated.
Yes.
Reintegrated. Is the word.
Yes. How they use a word, the repentant. We brought them into the military. How on earth, and where on earth, do you bring prisoners of war
into your military
into your regiment,
military structure,
your military, where the war is still going on? Where is it on? When you capture a prisoner of war, you put them in a camp. You watch them there. It's after the war has been over.
That's when you integrate.
And you negotiate. You see, the release of prisoners is not automatic. It's negotiated. Given conditions on which they can. He will forget all he has been practicing. All he has been living on is faith. He will forget them overnight. Hey, come on. These are the problems that Musa is facing. Plus, at the time Musa was appointed, the whole country was against the individuals that were occupying those positions. Is it Dabu that is named the former minister? Yeah. He was just not even, he had no idea of what a bomb looks like. He was saying that in the forest, bombs cannot reach the bandits. Whereas Americans are all using bombs to crack bunkers that are 30 feet, 40 feet below solid rock, and saying bombs cannot get. That's to tell you how wrong we've been getting this thing. We've gotten it too wrong for too long. That is, it's like filling a well, a very deep well. You won't know if you are putting sand until it gets to the level of the ground. And that's just beginning. So whatever work you are doing, filling the well, is not seen. So whatever Musa is doing, he may be trying. But you see, the man is being tried when the war is ongoing. His hands are tied. Surely he's not happy that the brigadier generals are being killed. He's not happy about
During his tenure.
During his tenure, he's not happy about that.
These were former colleagues.
You get me? So the problem is Musa is working with the existing structure that Buhari for 8 years, incapacitated.
Anyway, we will not in any way incapacitate our discussion. But stand and talk.
How able-bodied they are criminally oriented.
Criminally oriented.
They are criminally oriented. That's why they're able-bodied. I'm not going to employ your son as a thug because that is not criminally oriented. His upbringing
Quite different.
Quite different. That is why you find again that Agberos, like the experience in Lagos State in the last election, 2023 election, become very prominent, very significant in the campaign structure. Able-bodied men, thugs, youth wing. And now you have trained men available, trained criminals who have guns. Previously, politicians have to go and find guns. Now, no. All you need to do is go to where the henchmen are, and you recruit them. You pay for their guns, you pay for their bullets. So, when politicking comes up, there's an uprise in crimes. Well, then there are the criminal gangs themselves who use this lax environment to strike.
Okay, relaxed environment.
Yes. To strike, to hit. Because no matter area they strike, there are politicians who will be happy with that.
To campaign on.
Yes, to campaign on. To benefit from. But when you are striking, you are either striking opponent camp, adversary camp. Because the word opponent gives impression that, well, we are playing on a level playing ground. But when you start using adversary, you are going now into the area of enmity, of hatred. So, there is, the politicians, therefore, create insecurity in areas where they have disadvantage. They don't want election in that area because that is their weak area. If election is conducted there in the first place, they will lose. So let's not just conduct election there. Yeah. Are you following me?
Yeah.
But in their area of strength, they want to hold that. While you are holding here, the opposition, seeing what you are doing in this area, will also bring war to your doorstep. So that election will also not be held in your area of strength. It's a strategy of winning election. Make sure that your strong opponent does not exercise to the fullest the advantages of his area of strength
during the election,
so that you can easily win. It's used in worry. It's used everywhere. So the point is this. When election comes, you see a rise in those illegal criminal activities on the part of the politicians with active connivance of security forces.
Active connivance?
Yes, active connivance.
It's a strong statement.
Yes, it's a strong statement because every politician of significance has police escorting him. They've just removed police. They have this, yes, they are the same, they carry guns. Who knows the difference? You don't ask somebody whether you're a policeman or you are, what's it called, a vigilante. He's carrying gun. So, he's paying for those security to a commander or commanders of that area in which the area of jurisdiction of those armed security men that guide him. So he's friendly with them. He's friendly with the commanders. He's giving them money in form of payment for the services of the security men, and that gives him an opportunity to be more friendly with him, with the commander, and he pushes more money to him to enable him look away. Yeah. And when a crime is committed, the armed security guards serve as witnesses for him that nothing such happened.
So the way you're saying it seems to be deep-rooted, seems to be entrenched, that in every election cycle, violence characterizes the day.
Indeed.
Before, during, and almost
After.
immediately after the elections. Now, let's look at it now critically now. We barely have 7-8 months to the general elections. And we're now being hit hard by insecurity. There's no day we put on the radio or people watch this beautiful show, or even we go through the dailies, that will not be hit with an uptick in violence. Now, my concern is, are we likely going to see a further rise in this as we get close to the elections? February, like I said, is just like 7-8 months from now, and yet we are like this now. Many are already getting that fear. Many are already expressing deep pain of what will likely happen close to the elections. You agree with me that the uncertainty that greets the political climate itself is a bit too tense, with the PDP, ADC not knowing whether their face or their parties will be on the ballot. That's on one side. Primaries will soon take place, and you do know how primaries are.
Oh, but tomorrow now they start.
They start. Implosion happens to political parties immediately after primaries. An uptick of I will revenge you, you will revenge me. That's on the side. We're talking also again, we're looking at the political angle to all of this. We're now also looking at laxity on the part of our security architecture during this period. Because everybody is politicking and trying to cash in big on account of the political climate. So my question is, are we likely going to see an uptick as the month progresses ahead?
We are seeing it now. Are we likely to see when we are seeing it?
Are we likely going to see it increase?
It's going to increase now. It's going to increase. The Supreme Court is sitting on judgment over ADC, PDP, and rightly or wrongly, I use those, rightly or wrongly, the opposition is attributing the fate of their party to the ruling party. PDP no longer has its own. Wike is the root cause of all these problems. So, what are we seeing now? We're seeing the opposition ganging up against the ruling party. And if they lose at the Supreme Court, and they are not going to participate in the national election, what do you think they will do? They'll find a way to sabotage the election. Whether we like it or not, that's what they're going to do. They find ways to sabotage the election. They find ways to undermine the election itself and to undermine the ruling party. And the credibility of the election. And inevitably, the credibility of the federal government itself. Is it the U.S. government said that they are watching the outcome of the Supreme Court judgment. And they warned that Supreme Court should not use technicality in giving judgment. They should address the issues, not technicality. That's a heightened situation. And don't forget, America is in Nigeria with its forces. So we are sitting on edge of a razor blade. We are sitting on the edge of a razor blade.
Now, before that razor blade cuts our trouser or our bumper, I want to ask you a question. Do we need all of these uncertainty and political rhetorics as it concerns the discussion of you are my enemy, you are the reason we are being in this problem? Would this, I'm just a bit curious and also a bit scared that if the judgment does not go the way of the opposition, would the nation not see an eruption of protest on account of this?
It will. It will see it. And for heaven's sake, must it be this way? Must it be this way? It is this way because government is the only profitable business in the country. You win election as a governor, you are made, your children, your generations to come are made. You win election as the president of this country, you are made. Your families, your people, they are all made. So, and when an office is made to be too lucrative, it becomes a do or die struggle to get there. The moment the official car of Mr. President becomes a bicycle, you won't find anybody going there. Nobody will ever vie to be president of this country then. Make the bicycle his official car. Remove all those retinues of security around him. Reduce the aura of the office. Reduce the money available to him. Put a lot of institutional regulations to limit his powers. The office will no longer attract anybody. It will not attract anybody. And this do or die thing will evaporate. We have institutions of the security agencies, the police. That is not independent. What Mr. President wants is what they do. So an entire security of a country depends on the benevolence of Mr. President. That's not good enough. The police should be independent. Once you are an IG, you owe no obligation to Mr. President, but to the Constitution of the country, as they do in the United States, like they do in advanced countries. FBI is not loyal to Mr. President; he's loyal to the Constitution of the country. Even the armed forces of the United States, there are others, as you can see, going on now, that they disobey. That they disobey, and they are not tried for it. At very worst, they are sacked.
Or replaced.
Or replaced. So, until we get our independence of our institution, you are talking of INEC. How on earth will you tell me that Josh Amokuton will not be loyal to the man who appointed him? We are all human beings. We are all human beings. A man who put in that exalted position, even if it is 0.100% loyalty, you will have to him. And if there are an opportunity comes for you to help him, you will help him. So, the problem of this country is institutional. If we have institutions that are independent and seem to be independent, and everything is done to make them independent, we won't have any problem. If the judiciary is independent and completely independent, we won't have any problem. And those institutions include the National Assembly. The National Assembly, the idea of setting up a National Assembly or State Assembly is to serve as a checkmate of the activities of the president or of the governor.
Not to wither its power, but be more like
checkmate.
An appendage to what he does.
No, not an appendage to what he does.
Because that's what we are seeing now.
Now what you are seeing is an appendage. Whatever you want to do, you pass it through your budget to the House Assembly or National Assembly, and they look closely. They scrutinize it. And when they pass it, they also have oversight committees to ensure that you abide by the conditions for which they gave you this money. Do they do it? They don't do it. They don't do it. So we have a problem, a huge problem. And we are just looking at the election, our behavior during the election as the beginning of the problem. It's not the beginning of the problem. It's a manifestation of the problem itself.
So it's just like it's showing us the true colors of what we do.
Yes, and who we are.
How far we've come.
Who we are. Just it's a picture of who we are.
Now, I want you to give me another picture. Not the picture of who we are, but what will be after the elections. Are we likely going to see Mr. President battling in the next 4 years on insecurity issues?
If Mr. President,
if he wins.
If he wins.
Sorry, I have to really bring that caveat into
it. If he wins, if he does not restructure this country, I'm not talking of North, South and all that. No. The first restructuring that is needed in this country is institutional restructuring. make the judiciary independent and truly independent. There are no calls to the Chief Justice in the night. And the Chief Judge himself does not owe you any obligation whatsoever.
But Chief Olerumagege, you are not certain anybody called anybody in the night, though.
What?
You are not certain if anybody called any judge in the night.
I am not network.
Okay, sorry.
I'm not network.
Okay.
So I don't know who calls or who does not call.
Okay.
But when a judge seems to be getting all the cases of a particular man of importance, and his judgment, the sentences in his judgment have been relayed have been said by that big man in government a week earlier. It means the big man in government has seen the judgment, or he himself wrote the judgment if he's a lawyer. Are you getting me? Yes. And the judgment, one after the other, not one, not two, not three, 6, 7, 8, are consistently in favor of that big man in government. I don't need any suitor to tell me that judge has been compromised.
So he's billing the dealings of your guard at top.
Yes.
Why?
And painfully, nobody in the National Judicial Council is saying it. And is taking action on it. Nobody. Until you, the press, start screaming. Is then they come with lukewarm attitude. Hey, that's so, let's look. Meanwhile, the damage has been done. And that's the thing. The damage has been done. A judge delivered a judgment that from all views, from all angles, the judgment is wrong. And nothing can be done. You are told to appeal. And the appeal will go on for 4, 5, 6, 7 months. Whereas the damage done,
it's already there.
It's already there. It's not cured. We are building a nation of people who are angry. And it is their anger that goes back to what we are talking about, feeds the insecurity in the country. The judiciary is very partial. Very, very, very partial. And when somebody does not get justice, he takes the law into his own hand. Alone, or he finds people who have suffered the same fate, and they form a gang to against the system. This breeds insecurity. So, institutional deregulation we must face. We must address. If we don't address it, you restructure the country from here to tomorrow. Nothing works. Nothing works. Once we get it right, INEC is independent and truly independent. Judiciary is independent, truly independent. The security agencies are independent and truly independent. But by all these problems, not good deal. Is it not surprising that a minister of justice, a minister of the number one law enforcer of the country, is now on trial? Is now on trial for all kinds of offenses, ranging from corruption, support of terrorists, on and on and on and on. Is that not? And he's been in office for 8 years. Just imagine if those allegations are true. What damage he has done. What damage that man has done. These are the problems. And the system that produces that and encourages that and does not enable people to catch him, that system needs to be changed. So if the problem is in the institutions. If we don't get that right, forget it. Insecurity will continue. Because the man who is oppressed, the man who has spent millions and billions on election, he did not lose because he is unpopular. He lost because of under-table dealings. He will never, ever be at peace with what he suffered. And will continue to find ways to undermine the system.
So all you are saying, I don't want you to sound like a prophet of doom. Nobody is anyway, nobody is a prophet here. But what you are saying is that we're likely going to see violence irrespective of who comes as president.
If we don't solve the PDP and ADC thing very well, it's likely to be, the scenario will be worse than this. Because the people involved are powerful people. They have the resources, they have the connections.
To change things.
To change things.
For the good of the
For heaven's sake, why not just let ADC run? Why not let PDP run? And let the electorate decide who wins. That solves all these problems. That is the solution to this problem. You want to contest election? Welcome. Go to the field.
Let's see your popularity.
Let's see how you win. Let's see your popularity. If you win, we hail you. You take over the reign of government. If you lose, let him know that he lost. Let him know that he lost. If he knows he lost, he can't make noise. His supporters will abandon him. It's the man who lost and he feels he's been cheated that is angry. A man who lost and lost. His supporters will tell you, but you not try. Waiting. I beg, you not try. You not try. I'm not follow you again. Not a support man like you. That is the beginning of curing the madness in the society. But when somebody wins and you cut him short and he cries to the judiciary adds salt to the injury. He goes to Supreme Court adds habanero pepper to the injury. The man will say, okay. If I not die today, I'm not going to die again. Make I could die with me today. That is the issue. Let everybody have a free and fair election. And this problem will die off.
But anyway, I know we need to really die off the discussion because of time. And time is not a friend. You won't believe we've been talking for close to an hour now. And,
the time in this your studio is always wrong.
The truth is, the discussion is always so interesting. Hence, our time is always short. But we're not short of time of saying thank you so much. Say you try well. You try well. Let's put it that way. Giving us this elaborate understanding. Undermining, I really need to let you go. I still have one final question, though.
Go on.
Let's look at all the narrative. Let's look at all the scenario of our elections. There's a recent call for the man at the helm of affairs to resign. That he's becoming a bit apolitical. Or political, rather, not apolitical.
You mean Joshua Mokuto?
Joshua Mokuto.
Yeah.
And the call seems to be growing by the day. In your own honest assessment, what should he do to be seen, not to be enmeshed either by one political party or not? Yes, I know. Just like what you narrated. Who puts me there, I go do well for them. Let's leave that. But let's look at what he needs to do as an electoral umpire to diffuse the minds of many that is not being partial. What does he have to do?
He has to be very prayerful that the judgment of the Supreme Court will not hurt him. If particularly this ADC thing, if the Supreme Court interprets condition antebellum, I don't know. You know it.
Technicalities.
Yes, technicalities. The order, the ruling of the Court of Appeal that says that every party should return to status quo antebellum. It's not big stomach, not big belly.
I understand.
If, because that is the Achilles heel of Amokuto. If the Supreme Court says, well, the Court of Appeal antebellum, they don't find a way to upturn it, Josh Amokuto will be hurt in no small way. More so as he is a son, an SAN. See, one would say he should have known the correct interpretation of that status quo ante bellum. That what he interpreted it to be
was different.
And George does not have that opportunity of saying my aides misadvised me. He doesn't have that benefit anymore because he himself is the law. An SAN, Senior Advocate of Nigeria.
You know better.
You know better. If you cannot interpret status quo ante bellum, then your son becomes questionable. So let him fast. Go on 7 days fasting, dry fasting, to ensure that Supreme Court supports his interpretation. That's number one. Number two, let him focus on the conduct of the election. Leave the parties alone. Number three, the judiciary should obey the Electoral Act that says internal problems of political parties stay away. People no longer find ways to solve internal disputes internally. All they do is run to court and get injunction. Run to court and get it. And these injunctions do not enable people to exploit all avenues to resolve crisis.
Resolution of crisis. Yeah.
So when the Electoral Act says, court, stay away from internal issues of political parties, the court should respect that. Should stick to it, but it will stick to it at all costs. And then, if all these are in position, and Amakwito now says, I'm going to be free and fair, and we all seem to be free and fair, that will create people's confidence in the electoral process, and the tension will go down. Like I said earlier on, let people who lose know that, realize that they've lost, accept the loss, because they did not perform. When you are on 100 meters race, and your colleagues in the race are already at the end point, and you are still at the beginning point, nobody needs to tell you that you failed. You know you failed. Let it be like that. Those who fail, let them know. Let them accept that they failed. Let them see for themselves that they have failed. And will not run to court.
And get a different judgment.
Get a different judgment. We are then there. All this insecurity relating to politics will die. We are not, there are three aspects of this insecurity. One, religious. This is not what we are talking about.
Yeah.
One is economic.
Criminal-minded.
That's not what they are talking about. But the one that is political, that exploits these two, the first two, religious and economic,
for its gain,
that's the most dangerous. And we need to find a way to remove that completely, to remove the political end to insecurity. Then we can see the economic end, and we can see the religious end. And government can now decide
what mode or model to deal with
them. That's my view.
Well, thank you so much. I need to thank you so much, Bishop. Sorry.
I'm not a bishop.
Oh, no, anyway, you said somebody should fast for 7 days, so sorry. I first USC Bishop. Maybe you gained some spiritual understanding. But all the same, thank you so much.
You're welcome.
For coming and doing this with us. We truly enjoy your insights, frank analysis, and table-bearing knowledge of what seems to be happening. Thank you so very much.
You're welcome.
We really appreciate your time with us.
And you are doing very well.
Well, thank you so much.
I watch you on YouTube and Facebook.
Well, thank you so much. Thank you.
You are doing very well. And I can't wait till your main